Hey everybody, welcome back to 30 Days Until Done. I'm John Branningham. This is the second day of our fiction writing, and yesterday you posted down below some settings and some characters, two characters. There might be side characters as well. Well, here's the thing. I might say something today that contradicts what I say down below because I'm filming these obviously all at once, and it's like August right now, so and in the moment. When we're writing, I might give better advice than what I'm giving right now. So if what I'm saying down below conflicts with what I'm saying here, take the advice down below, or take your own advice and follow your passions, right? But this might not be exactly. It's not like a poetry prompt. There's a little bit different. So what is story? Story is three things. It's character who wants something and is blocked from that thing. Right? That begins the story, that ends the story. That conflict, that what the character wants in that conflict, that begins and ends the story. Most people make the mistake, especially when you're first writing, and I don't know what your skill level is, or experience level, I should say, not skill. I don't know where you are in your writing career, but most people who are starting make the mistake of starting with background, and you get this sort of flat, like 15 years ago, and this is what Jeff was like, and all those things. We don't need any of that. We're going to start directly in conflict, right? Especially with a short story, you have to start right in conflict, and that's most especially true if you're first writing, right? It's very, very easy. If you have the writer's block problem of you'll write 3 to 5 pages and then just sort of kind of peter out and you don't know why, it's because you don't have any conflict. And once you get done with describing who the character is and the character situation, there's nothing more to describe. Okay, so yesterday we gave setting and 2 characters, one antagonist, one protagonist, and maybe you haven't decided which is antagonist and which is protagonist. Here's what you're going to decide today. We're going to write a paragraph, maybe a little bit more. Who is your point of view character? That's your protagonist. Protagonist does not mean good guy. Protagonist means point of view character. That's whose point of view we are writing from. And so your character, whose character we're going to be following, it's going to be going. Now your antagonist might really, really want the best for your protagonist. That might be the conflict. That your antagonist wants better for your character than your protagonist wants. I just finished a Marge Piercy novel, and that's what she had. She had 2 sisters. One of them really wanted the other one to live a better, more happy life, and the other one was willing to sacrifice herself. Our point of view character was willing to sacrifice herself in a lot of ways, and that was one of the central conflicts in the novel. By the way, the novel's called Vita. It's pretty good. I don't like the way it ends, but it's pretty good. I derailed myself. Okay, so we're going to start with the setting, and here's how we're going to start the story. Your point of view character is going to enter the setting. How the character enters the setting is going to tell us everything we need to know about him or her. For example, does the character walk into a butcher shop and yell, "Booyah! Hey, ladies!" Right? Or does the character walk in kind of weeping? Right? And those things are going to tell us who those characters are and what their backgrounds are. There's a certain type of guy who walks in and says, "Booyah, hey ladies," and what happens is if you start like that, we construct that character's entire background, right? Which might be different than yours, but it's also going to be richer. Because you're letting the reader do part of the heavy lifting of the story, right? So the character, your point of view character, is going to come into the setting, see what he or she needs to see. This setting is going to reflect who the character is, as is the way the character enters the scene. Your antagonist is going to be there as well. In these first 1 or 2 paragraphs, your 2 characters are going to start to conflict, right? Character A, your point of view character is going to want something. Your antagonist is going to want something different. Could be slightly different. They don't have to be at odds with each other. You could be like that character wants to buy some candy. He's at Disneyland. He wants to buy some candy. And your antagonist character is a character who wants to give him the money, but doesn't want the character to feel as if he or she is beholden. So he's got to find a way to. Your antagonist now has to find a way to give money without the main character knowing, the protagonist knowing that it's a gift, right? So it doesn't have to be antagonist in the way that human beings think of antagonism. This is story antagonism, right? 2 characters want something slightly different. Write 2 paragraphs. Now, if I were going to do this, I'd write my character. I've got my point of view character is a 13-year-old boy, and he is trying to get a signal, right? And all he wants to do is get the signal. He's in Sequoia National Park. And my antagonist is a 50-year-old woman coming out of the forest, seeing this guy kind of grumping at himself. It's like, I can't get this. And what she wants is to show him that maybe there's something beyond the cell phone. Maybe there's great beauty around him. And so he's gonna enter that story probably cursing. She's gonna enter the story silently, right? And he's gonna be the one who sees her. So right now we have a character who's telling us who he is by the way that he sees the forest and the way that he sees his antagonist, right? And so he's gonna see the forest as being a waste of his time. He's like looking, it's like, oh, these damn trees, these damn mountains, they're blocking my signal. And then he sees this woman come up and say, God, not a stinky hippie, right? And she comes in, right? And that tells us everything we need to know about him. It tells us a lot more about him than we can ever do with background. Okay, so that is 30 Days Until Done for today. And post down below and we'll all comment, and I'll see you tomorrow.